Burn Unit with your host, the amazing Johnathan.
My neck is killing me. Or is it? That's right, folks. It wasn't my neck. It was lasagna noodles. And you can do the same thing. I'm not superhuman. You can do it. Crack your knuckles. The possibilities are unlimited. By the way, this is my that was right by the mic. That would sound good. This is my interpreter. We're going to do this from now on. I think that we're getting so many letters from deaf people. Just sacks of them coming in saying, we don't understand the fucking words you're saying. So I got an interpreter. A little bit of money. I got the guy cheap. I don't know if he's real. But we have tonight Scotland's marionettes. Better yet, we have Scotland. Marionettes, last time we had them, boring. They just sat there. But with Scott here, they got something to say. You're not really interpreting marionettes. So anyway, I have these 5 marionettes. No, you didn't do this. You're fucking... No, you didn't do that. You're fucking conning me. You're not even an interpreter, are you? That's bullshit. Get off the set. You're not even marionette. Yeah, now he doesn't. Go. Go find a Mandela party. When I said take a chair, I didn't mean... Anyway, we'll be right back with Burn Unit and Scotland and his marionettes. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and he has just been given the anti-swivel chair speech because all of the guests tend to swivel in these chairs, unknowingly doing this during the whole interview. We look like 5-year-olds. Yeah.
It's easy to do that.
It is easy to do that, so don't do it.
Don't do it.
Right. We wanted to look professional, and this is our first real guest. So, this is Scott Land, everybody. You'll know Scott from his body of work that you love, like Team America. One of my absolute favorite movies, Team America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I'm impressed with Scott's work on it is because he wrote and performed my favorite line in the entire movie. Do you know what it is?
Mm-mm.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
All right. I think this is yours. The secret signal.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is very funny because that's Nikki and I's secret signal too. The secret signal is the marionettes trying to come up with a signal that tells the other marionettes that they're in danger. And what is the secret signal?
It's this.
Yeah.
And people on Broadway will use that across each other in wings. They'll do this. They told me that before. It's like a...
Nikki, that's our secret signal, isn't it? To wrap it up. I think we're not getting it now. So, Scott, when was the first time that you remember in your head having a puppet in your hand?
I saw a puppeteer named Bob Baker at a fair, the Orange Show, and he did it out in the open. And they were marionettes, 30 inches tall, about 1/3 human size. But what was interesting is he did them with amazing manipulative skills. A lot of guys, they kind of just shake the puppets, but his were actually performing and reacting. And I'd never seen anybody do it with such skill. Now, I'd seen the Muppets, and I appreciated that, but I knew everybody could put their hand up inside of a puppet.
Were you into that?
Kind of, but what really took me farther is when I saw this guy doing marionettes, because it was like poetry.
Did you own hand puppets before you owned marionettes?
Yeah, not very many, but I was mostly into magic originally.
You were a magician?
Yeah, I bought the What's Next and the sticks, the Chinese sticks.
That was my first trick.
Yeah?
The sticks were my first trick.
And I used to love going to Disneyland magic shop. I loved everything about that whole space. And then when I was at UCLA, I went to the magic shop on Hollywood Boulevard. That was the other experience.
Right, Hollywood Magic, yeah. That was a great shop. Is it still there?
No.
It's gone now. But the costume store next to it's pretty impressive too.
And that's where they do the magic now. They sell it in there.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's smart. Yeah. So I didn't know you were a magician.
Yeah, and then Chuck Jones was the first magician I saw, and I thought it was the same Chuck Jones that did the animation. And after the show, I said, I really love your animation on television and Bugs Bunny.
And of course, he said thank you.
He said thank you.
Did he?
He did, yeah. He sold me
credit for it.
He sold me a coloring book too.
That's great.
Show business. But it was Bob Baker who inspired me, and then I checked out library books, how to build them. Very basic, paper mache, nothing sophisticated.
Yeah, sometimes in the back of the old magic books they had a little section on how to build marionettes. I remember a few of those myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what is the very first one you? Have you seen the Sesame Street guy, the guy that started with Kevin? What's his name?
Kevin Clash.
Kevin Clash.
Yeah.
Did you watch that documentary?
I did, and I thought the documentary was great, except for the one thing. The elephant in the room, because I know Kevin Clash, and he basically got divorced, but he claimed that it was just because he was into puppets and all that. His life had changed.
That was just creepy as it is.
You blame it on the puppet.
Yeah, that's creepy. Then when you find out it wasn't a puppet.
A grown man playing with dolls is creepy in and of itself.
Or kids that are doll size.
Yeah. That's not as bad.
Oh. Yeah.
You cut their nails.
You tie them up with strings and make them... Show the judge where he tied you up. What point? What's your sleeve tie up?
See, that's the beauty of puppetry and ventriloquism and all that, is because it's kind of weird and freaky that then people that hook into that, and then it becomes that. There's nobody that's a sane puppeteer.
There is. Ventriloquism is included in that, because I remember them asking, what's his name, the guy that sold his soul to the devil to become really famous, Jeff Dunham. I remember them asking Jeff Dunham if they would put all his dolls on stage as the ventriloquist figures and pose for a picture with the club owner, and he seriously said they don't do that. That's creepy. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Like it probably took you hours to get all four of them to hang out that close together, huh?
They just hang out and they just stare. That's the sad part, is they just...
All right, does that ever get creepy when you're working in your workshop late at night? Does that ever bug you? Like you look over and you saw one... Because you know how close you are to me. You're right next door to me.
Yeah.
Your workshop. I could probably drop through one of these vents and rig one up to move when you're in there working.
See, that wouldn't affect me because I knew that you would do it. But the best would be for me to reverse and fuck you over and do it to you.
Yeah.
Then that would freak you out. No, because they're like, to me, props, and I make them all. That they don't really mean much more than just figures that I've sculpted and created. So there's nothing.
He doesn't mean that.
There's nothing.
You want to get killed? Are you crazy? They'll kill you if they hear you say that. They're nothing more than something I created.
No, seriously. This one here, the Obama, gets more reaction because he doesn't say one joke. He dances in my show.
Kind of like he does with the presidency.
See, if I had him say one thing, half my audience hates me. So because he doesn't say anything and he just moves and dances.
What does he do? What does he do?
It comes up to help to the chief. And so he walks out and he's very presidential, and then there's a record scratch, and he looks around, and then all of a sudden it comes to Put a Ring on This by Beyonce. And then he starts dancing and moving to it. And then he does splits, and he puts his foot in his mouth, and the audience gets that bit. And then he stands up and waves and walks off. That's it. But because there are no political jokes with him, nobody gets offended. So my audience still loves me.
I came up with an idea. That's a brilliant idea. I came up with an idea for a puppet for you. I was thinking, what kind of puppet would Scott like as a gift? I want to do a Tibetan monk puppet that is soaked in lighter fluid and have an igniter.
One show.
One show. You just replace the bandages on the robes every show. But you have a puppet that bursts into flames.
See, now, I personally love that. And your audience is the type that would probably love that, too. And I think that would be one show that we should just try and stage it. And I'll create it. In fact, we could take any one of these. I'll make another one because I save all the molds. And you pick which one, and I'll dress it as a monk, and we will ignite it.
None of those look like a monk. Maybe the Pavarotti, if you did the eyes.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be hard to just wrap it in gasoline so clean.
It's quick.
Yeah.
And a puppet on fire is funny because we did Tim Robbins on Team America, and I had to do that one, and he caught on fire. And what you don't think about is you're above it working it. The flames come up into you. So you have gloves, but you don't have gloves over your face. It just...
And you're limited with the string snapping is probably...
We used wires, so we were good. It didn't break, but you know, there's something about a puppet crawling on the stage, and people like that.
You've probably gone as far as the mind can go with the...
Not yet.
Team America had some amazing marionette scenes. The sex scene being one of them, the bar scene being the other.
Yeah.
I want to show the audience a clip of... Chris?
Yeah.
Can you show us the clip of the Team America scene in the bar? This is Scott's work, and I think it's
I play the Gary, the lead, and then the old codger is Tony Urbano. He was a person I learned puppetry from. He's 74 years old now, and he's still doing
I use this
marionettes.
clip. I've used this clip for the last 6 or 7 years to open my show, and the audience, because if they can take this, they can take anything. It's a real good gauge.
And it's Trey Parker who's doing actually both voices at separate times. But he did both voices, and he wrote the dialogue for this. So I had to make Gary kind of appear drunk, but I don't want to upstage what the song is and the dialogue that's coming up.
Okay, the controls and everything. What do you have? The controls for the eyes, the mouth, and just the head movement?
Yeah, on this one, it's just moving the head and the body, and the facial expressions are done with radio control by another puppeteer.
Turn it up,
I
Chris.
don't act anymore. Oh, come on, man, just a scene. I said get away from me! I'm completely lost! I've hit rock bottom. Easy, easy, whoa, you gotta calm down there, Chuck. I hurt people. I'm a dick. Well,
You doing both
being a
marionettes?
dick ain't so
No,
bad.
Tony's doing
See,
the
there's three kinds
codger,
of people.
Tony Urbano,
Dicks,
and I'm doing
pussies, and
Gary.
assholes. Pussies think everyone can get along, and dicks just want to fuck all the time without thinking it through. But then you got your assholes, Chuck. And all the assholes want us to
I
shit
think the
a lot
lighting
of
is so
pussies, make
crucial
it
on
mad
these
at dicks
faces.
once
The
in a
lighting,
while
they really were
because
careful with
pussies
this
get
one
fucked
thing.
by dicks.
Yeah, the director of
But
photography
dicks
was
also
Bill Polk,
fuck
who did
assholes, Chuck.
Matrix
And
and a
if
lot
they
of other
didn't fuck
great
the
films. So
assholes, you
he
know
was
what
the
you
problem
get?
solver.
You
He
get
made
your dick
made
and your
everything look
pussy
great.
all covered
Yeah,
in
it
shit.
sure looks like a real movie. I mean, it doesn't look...
All right, that does it. Get out of here, you drunk lowlife.
And then I had to walk him out here drunk, and I had to walk him left-handed because I didn't have time to re-rig it.
Get
So
out
that's
of
why
here,
it's
I
kind
said.
of bad.
It's supposed to be that.
Yeah, they like that. They like puppets that did bad manipulation. And he ran out at that point, and we didn't cut out the opening, so we just shoved him inside. And they said, it's not going to work. And I said, trust me. So they closed the door, and they said, action. I just ran him out and then went into the next scene, which is the vomiting.
Yeah, that's... Now, how did the vomiting scene work? Did they actually have a separate head with a tube coming down, or did you control the vomiting?
Yeah, no, there were special effects guys doing the controlling. And there was a tube that was running through his body down and through the stage, but we didn't know how it was going to work. So I just said, I'll make the retching sound, and I'll manipulate it, and then you guys can push it through. And it's split pea soup with bacon bits, is what they used. And then I would just go,
How did the eyes? You had a variable eye widths that you could work
yeah,
with?
the guy's doing that, watching it, and he will react to. He's watching the monitor like we are, and then he brings them wide. And it was all an improvisation. We never rehearsed any of this. And then I would just, because I've been in that state before, so I could kind of relate to it. And then I bring them down, because you don't come right up. You take your time.
I love the music. The orchestration is beautiful.
And then as it gets lowered through the mixture, they run out of the vomit, the split pea soup, and then it starts to sputter right here. And most people would cut, and I kept going. And then it just started mixing with the air, and then I started shaking him more dramatically, continuing on, never breaking. And then you'll see the head string on his left side break right there. And then I release the puppet after it breaks, right there. And then they reshot this with a separate insert.
Right.
But it was literally...
Brilliant.
The Paramount Pictures has all of the puppets, and then we put the main ones on display, short strung, and they're at South Park Studios in Marina Del Rey.
Is there going to be another part 2? Is there going to be another Team America?
Trey and Matt said they would never work with puppets ever again. But what they didn't know, see, this is the genius behind it. When they started shooting it, they thought it would be easy. Puppetry is difficult in and of itself. Marionettes are the most difficult form. So every shot's a special effect. So they thought they could shoot it in 2 months, and it took 4.5 months. And it was $32 million for them to shoot. They didn't expect it to be that much. And basically, Paramount said, "We've gone in this far. Let's just keep going and get it finished because it's
$32 million, and they're paying no actors except for the marionette.
Right, and
guys.
we're paid part of SAG, so we got residuals and all that. But there were no heavy hitters. But then they made back all their money from the screening, and then they made back more from the DVD sales because they released 2 versions, the unrated version, which just has essentially the scat scene, in the sex scene. That's all.
Did it do well at the box office when it was released?
In the United States, it did okay, not great compared to Europe. Europe, it did fantastic. The United States didn't know how to react because we were just in the war and didn't know if we should be commenting or joking about it. So they didn't know, but now it's a cult film. But that's the key. If they had known how difficult it was going to be, they would have never done it. So they got into it. Then they thought the timing later on, and then they pissed off all of Hollywood, which it's a Hollywood film, and you're pissing off Hollywood? That's what's genius about the South Park guys.
Yeah. They're not afraid to piss off anyone. If you can go for Scientology, you can go for anything, man. Everything else is Scientology.
Exactly.
So where are you from originally? Where did you grow up?
Redlands. And then I went to school at UCLA and studied psychology. I didn't know that I was going to do puppetry for a business.
I think that the movie Being John Malkovich made marionettes and what do you call yourself?
Puppeteer or marionettist. It's not a real word, but I say marionettist.
Yeah. I think that made you guys look cool. That was I think it was a good PR thing. It almost made you want to become a puppeteer, It was a brilliant movie with puppets.
There's a thing we call puppet wars, and it's something that I just discovered from doing it for so long. Hand puppeteers resent marionette operators because it's a very difficult field. But they'll never do it because the real money is in hand puppetry, which is the Muppets. Okay. So I've always done marionettes because nobody else was doing it.
Well, the skill factor is completely different. I mean, you got to have... Yeah, I want to learn. Can you show me how to work one of these?
Sure.
All right. This is so cool. Do most people build them the same way, or you have a custom design?
No, what I do is there are basic things that I discovered just from trial and error, and then I apply it to a puppet and replicate it. You have on left and right, you have the head string so that he can look left and right. And in this case, there's lip sync. That's this string right here. That's where my trigger is. And he also has upper lip movement because he's an opera singer, so he can. Then at the front of the controller are the eyebrows.
Wow, that's a lot.
And inside there are springs that pull everything back into position. These control the 2 hands. Then the leg bar is here. This controls the legs by rocking this back and forth. Then there's a specialty string that pulls the hands together so he can urine.
What is the most involved puppet you've ever built?
Probably this belly dancer that's over here.
Have you seen a marionette that had like such advanced controls? You went like, I can't build that. I'm not going to build that.
I've seen them and I understand why they do it. It's just that I'm more practical because I have to travel with these, so I can pack these up into a case and get them there. The guy that has one, his name is Joe Kishore, fantastic marionette operator, but he has a very large, elaborate controller for a horse, and it extends, but he can't travel. It has to stay in a case that holds it. So it's not designed to be touring the world. It's designed to be going from van to van to van when he gets to his gigs.
I wonder if you could computerize some of the hand controls.
You can. You try to keep everything as simple as possible. Some people put too many movements into a marionette, and you don't have to do all the complex moves. You can just add. Like this one has moving eyes left and right. And then it also has blinks. I don't know if you can see that. Oops, this one.
He's asking for it.
This one was modeled after Angelina Jolie.
Can I hold one?
Sure.
All right, so this one here, these are pretty heavy, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we have this control here. You have to be on both sides, don't you? You have to balance
That's
it out.
right.
So that
Those are the eyes, yeah.
all right. And then this hand.
That is the leg bar. So those are controlling the legs.
Yeah. See if she can do the splits. Flip this candle.
Burn her cooch at the same time.
That's so cool.
And then rocking the controller does the hips.
So an explosion. I could do an explosion. Boom! Well, how do you do the hands? What's this one down here?
So that one's the eyes still. The hands are here. These are two detachable ones.
God.
So you have
An
that.
octopus could play the fuck out of this thing. That's so wild. And what does the bottom cross do? What's this one here?
These are the head. This holds the head, so it suspends it.
Wow.
But what you'll do, just like a magician, is
So much different than the little Mexican with the sombrero I bought in Tijuana.
you'll practice in front of a mirror for hours on end, and you'll find the groove. And it'll tell you, the puppet will guide you and tell you what it can do. You try not to resist that, because each one will move differently. And just like a close-up magician, you learn the gimmicks and the bits that work for that particular design, the illusion that you're trying to create. Because this one moves completely differently from any of the others.
If you were to do like a levitation, you'd have to do a whole horizontal rig, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And that would be a cool effect, actually, to do that. And so Obama's got the mouth, the lip sync, the eyebrows. And then the eyes.
Show us the dance. Show us the Obama dance.
And then it goes into here.
A breakdancing puppet would be cool. He's got the same noise when he walks too. His mouth. That's so cool. Look at that. That's awesome.
And then this was one that I created for your Halloween show
Yeah.
that you did like 3 years ago. Jonathan said, bring me something that's weird and kind of unusual. So I'd already made clowns before. So I whipped this up in 2 days. You can see that the eyebrows are there.
Didn't you have a jacket on at one time?
No, I never had a jacket.
No, I thought it.
That's a different one.
Yeah, you have a flasher?
Yeah, I have a
Okay, I thought so.
And what's great,
I
at
am
the
so
club-
jealous.
I do this at David Arquette's club, and it's dark, and you'll have him come up and you'll have him come over and flirt with a girl, do the whole bit, and then they want to take a picture, and then you turn in profile, take the picture, then they look at the picture and they go, oh, hold on, and then they open their mouth, and you actually put it right in their mouth. And it's amazing, and I never clean off the penis. Ever.
You don't have to. It's been in their mouth.
That is a Jonathan gag. I just think it's funny that they have to deal with it then, so I purposely leave it alone.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin that nice wood grain.
No.
So the Pavarotti does, what does the Pavarotti puppet do?
He sings Nesse Dorma, and at the end he holds the note, and then he's rigged the tube there, and he sprays the audience with tears because it's a sad song. And he cries to the audience.
And he sprays the audience?
Yeah, but there are two holes in the eyes, and he sprays from his eyes. I built that for the Venetian.
The eyes, they glisten.
Yeah, I put epoxy, 5-minute epoxy in all of them so that it really...
The Nazis used to do that. Just make the Jewish kids' eyes glisten. We have an epoxy.
Master puppeteers.
Yeah.
Some would use hot glue, I'm sure, but they found the epoxy was better for the kids.
Yeah, you don't get the screaming, but it works better. I know. I understand that whole scene.
They used to duct tape them open, but now...
So now you are going all over the world with these things now. I mean, every time I look at your schedule now, you're out of the country, you're doing shows for celebrities. You actually made a doll for Charlie Sheen's, what's his name?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen. It was called
Charlie
a
Sheen.
movie called The Glimpse Inside the Mind of Charles Swan III.
I just started watching that. Is
Yeah.
that in that movie?
Yeah, it's at the end.
Oh, I didn't make it that far.
It was Roman Coppola who directed it.
That was a weird
Yeah.
movie. I just
Yeah.
turned that on the other night just for the
Yeah.
heck of it. And what is this? What is this?
Yeah, he. What's basically is he's going through a midlife crisis, but the group that's with him that perform with him, Jason Schwartzman and Bill Murray. So it was all of these wonderful guys that I got to do the scene with, where basically they give him a gift at the end, and it's a little Charles Swan puppet that one of his buddies made, which happened to be me. And the puppet then works the party.
So you played yourself in this movie.
Yeah. And the puppet works the audience and improvises and does all this stuff. And then after we did our first take, it was about a 2 or 3 minute long take. Bill Murray came up and said, "That was really amazing. Did you improvise most of that?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because I've been doing this for so long, so you know where you're kind of going." He said, "That was great. Did you see that movie Team America?" And I go, "Hey, I was the lead puppeteer." And he goes, "I hate everything, but I love that film. Can I have your card?"
I hate everything, but I love that film.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good quote for your
Yeah.
resume. I hate everything, but I love that film.
And then we went to the screening. I guess it was 4 months later in New York, and he was really appreciative and remembered me and everything. Very nice guy.
So give me some more Bill Murray moments. Who have you met and done shows for? Or
Bill Murray, the one that I remember, the thing on the set is he wanted to play patty cake with the makeup artist. So he had a 23-year-old girl sitting on his lap, and they did patty cake together. That was cool. I've done Schwarzenegger's party 4 times. Stallone.
and
Steven
you create
Spielberg.
puppets for these?
These characters, I did a Stallone, but I did do a Schwarzenegger, but not for his party. Usually people don't like to see puppets of themselves. Some people do,
Why?
but some people don't. They're self-conscious, and
It brings out their
Yeah.
characteristics.
either they really have a great sense of humor or they don't. And some people just like it, and some can't handle
Do you
it.
think Obama knew he had big ears before
Yeah, he
you built
did.
that?
He knew. I heard that he was always bothered by the size of his ears. So of course
Just
that
when it
was
was
people-
windy. So
But I was going to
you
say,
should make the ears flap.
yeah. Did you see it? They do flap.
Do they flap?
Oh, yeah,
No, I
I
didn't
thought
see
you
that.
did. Yeah.
That might be good in a have a windy situation and he takes off. Oh no, the wind.
I was working a show and Morgan Freeman was there, and Morgan Freeman videotaped the Obama puppet, and then he sent it to the president with his iPhone.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So you just telling me that you had 5 of your puppets stolen. That must have been heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was some of my early stuff, and it was in my studio in Los Angeles, and they had broken the door and pulled down the hooks to take them down. So they were kids. They didn't.
Well,
lift them
yeah,
up.
they want marionettes.
Yeah.
He's never going to get
It's lonely out there.
60 and over thieves looking for marionette warehouses.
They got a Chinese juggler, a roller skating bear, a clown.
Wait a minute, this is the new show that just opened on the store. It's called Thieves.
Thieves on string.
Did they get the mad magician? What's his name?
Ballantyne?
Carl Ballantyne down.
No, this was before Valentine's, so thank goodness. Yeah, that one actually put me on the map because doing Team America, there were first things that were a paradigm shift for me for marionettes. One was doing Team America, and the other one was getting support by the magic community because I did the Carl Ballantyne, which he does things with his hands. He has articulated fingers to pick up things and do misdirects.
That's how it starts. Articulated hands. Then they're ruling the world. Posable thumbs on marionettes. Then they're ruling the world.
It had never been done for marionette work. Usually it's a magnet, so they'll pick it up and then it's stuck. And this was another thing. I was just at the Smith Center and we saw the Salzburg marionettes. Fantastic
Yeah.
show.
What did they do? Sound of Music?
Sound of Music.
The
was
whole
show
Sound
for.
of Music?
Did the whole thing. And what was great is the scene where the Nazis came in. All they did was have a life-size actor enter this marionette theater stage with a swastika and sweep the stage, and it left such an impression. You went, wow, it was really quite amazing. You should, if you ever can, see it.
Really?
It was like one of the best theatrical experiences, and the audience stayed all the
how
way
many
through.
marionettes were involved in this thing?
In that show itself, I think there were 48, because what would happen is you have a cast of 8 characters for the family, then they do costume changes. Well, you can't change the costumes on the puppet, so you have to make another set. So each one would have a different set. And the guy who directed it was a Broadway director, knew nothing about marionettes, and he directed it as he thought it should be. And he broke all the rules with puppets. They would lift up off the stage and levitate. They're not supposed to do that. But it made sense in the song. So it'd be like, so long, farewell, Avita, say goodbye. And then it was really beautifully graphic representation of
Did you
theater.
cry?
No, I wanted to, but it was.
Scotty.
But kids stayed all the way through. There were children stayed through a 90-minute show. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
I've never
especially
seen
Sound of Music. It's not really a kid's
No,
story. I don't think.
no. But it was well produced, and it's from obviously Vienna, Austria. So they're very
They're
specific.
touring all over with that show.
And then also the other show you should see if you haven't seen it is War Horse. That's an amazing show. One of the finest theatrical experiences you can ever see with a life-size set of horses manipulated by puppeteers doing it.
Life-size marionette horses?
Well, they're not marionettes. These are rod puppet, Boone Rocco style. But you can see the puppeteers the whole time. And the audience is sobbing when one of them dies on stage. You can hear the audience crying. It's quite amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you planning on doing anything like that? Is that what's your big lofty goal on? Are you gonna have a show like that blows everybody away?
I'm going after more adult material because nobody does adult kind of, what you're about. People love
I don't do
to
adult
be pushed. I've done kid shows forever, so I'm pushing the envelope by going adult, doing really inappropriate things with puppets that people then talk about.
Yeah, you got to be careful of it. I had a show in Branson. I opened and closed the same week because I called it cunt, and it just didn't fly. So you gotta pick your market.
Yeah. Vegas, hopefully, well, as you know, is a delicate market. As long as they know it's making money, everybody's happy. So, as long as I can push the envelope and do it in a tasteful way, but also push it, people will let you do things with a puppet that you can't do with a human.
Well, the scene in Team America, the sex scene, and to watch that live would be hysterical to watch that live.
And the amazing thing about that scene is the puppet said no genitalia, actually. That was the point of it all. So
you're going to change all that. Well, puppets.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, this has been great having you, man. We appreciate you coming down, man. It was nice. I've been trying to get you here. Your schedule's so fucked that I couldn't. Last week we're trying to get you in. It just never worked out, but it finally did. So I'm glad you're leaving tomorrow, aren't you?
I do.
Where are you going tomorrow?
Let's see. I go back to L.A. and then I've got shows over the weekend.
You just got married?
4 months ago. Yeah.
She's really
Lisa.
cool. Yeah,
Lisa Land.
Lisa's cool.
Yeah, she's from the South and an amazing cook.
Yeah.
And she really calls it as she sees it. She doesn't.
That's not usually the case in your situation.
No.
Usually you call all the shots.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, it's nice to have you, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing the show.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Lamb. That's been our Burn Unit. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you next week.